You know, that's actually not that bad. Like, as a shot, a little boobalicious, as my mother would say. Hey guys, it's Cece and welcome to my Queer Blackathon vlog. So in case you don't know, Blackathon is an existing readathon on BookTube. It is something I've participated in a couple of times, and this is a special edition version of Blackathon where it's the Queer Blackathon. We read in queer black books for the next 48 hours. So the point of this readathon, the day that it started, June 19th, is actually Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a holiday that is celebrated at not nearly as much as other commemorative holidays in the United States, unsurprisingly, because it's specifically about Black lives and about emancipation, and emancipation that came ages after the Emancipation Proclamation, specifically a general going into Texas and telling slaves that they were no longer enslaved, significantly after they should have been told, and that has kind of become a commemorative holiday of basically Texas becoming the last state to inform formerly enslaved people that they should no longer be enslaved, although there's some fucked up messaging even in that specific one, even in that like specific instance. So I'm giving you that little rundown because I know that I wasn't taught about Juneteenth while I was in high school. I wasn't even taught about it when I was in college. It's something that I had to learn about on my own. It's something I had to be educated on by members of the community over time. Hey y'all, editing Cece here. I am just cutting in so that I can talk a little bit about today's sponsor, Skillshare. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning platform with thousands of classes in hundreds of subjects. Seriously, you can find and learn about just about anything on their platform. And today, in honor of Queer Blackathon, I wanted to recommend a Skillshare class that is by a queer black creator. I wanted to recommend a Skillshare original course called Crafting Personal Essays with Impact by Roxane Gay. Roxane Gay is an incredible writer. I have read a ton of her nonfiction work, her essays in classes that I took in college. She's an incredible voice, and I think right now what we need is more people talking, more people expressing their own experiences, and I think that that's something that can absolutely be learned through this creative writing original Skillshare course. You can get access to this class and all of Skillshare's classes with a premium membership, which works out to be less than $10 a month. That premium membership gets you unlimited access, and what is so amazing is that the first 1,000 people who click the link that is in my description down below are going to get their first 2 months of Skillshare premium membership absolutely for free. I have talked in the past about Skillshare and how much their sponsorships mean to this channel, mean to me creating. They support so many people and they support me. They keep me creating stuff. So please, please check out Skillshare. Link in the description below. Take the class with Roxane Gay. Explore more of your interests. Be sure to let me know what classes you end up perusing. Okay, and now we are going to head back to other Cece, who is going to let you know all about the TBR that I had for the Queer Blackathon. Over to you, Cece. So, this is an edition of the Blackathon that is being hosted, of course and always, by Jessie from Bow Ties and Books. You know I adore Jessie. I've been talking about them nonstop for ages now. And this round is also being hosted by Lauren from the novel Lush, Francina Simone from Francina Simone, and Myona Reads, all of whom are incredible booktubers, book creators, people that you should be following. And I now have 48 hours starting as of this moment. It is actually 11:50 p.m. right now, if you can see. 11:50 p.m. So 10 minutes to go, and then I'm gonna start reading my first queer black books. So I have too many books on my TBR, as I usually do with readathons, but I'm currently just like a little bit behind on my 30 books in 30-day challenge that I set for myself for June, and I'm hoping to use these next couple of days to catch up on that goal a little bit. So I tentatively have 4 books on my 48-hour readathon TBR. I didn't do an official video for this because I've been having a hard time filming again, but here's your TBR guide. So I have 2 YA novels. I have Felix Ever After by Kaysen Callender. This is about a black demi-boy who's dealing with stuff at his school, And then this anonymous student who goes to school with Felix starts sending him transphobic messages, and it becomes about that, and also there's some kind of catfishing element. I'm not totally sure, but this is one of the biggest releases of the year. It was sent to me by HarperCollins. I'm very glad that they sent this my way. I was planning on purchasing a copy, but now I will probably purchase a copy to give away. So that is the first thing on my TBR. I also have You Should See Me in a Crown. This is by Leah Johnson. Has also been passed around a lot over the last couple of weeks. This is out now. It came out on June 2nd, and it is about a girl who loses her scholarship and then remembers that the homecoming king and queen get scholarships, and even though that's not something she's ever wanted to do, she's determined to get out of her small town, so she starts trying to compete for homecoming queen. I think it's homecoming and not prom. It's prom king and queen. But the girl who knows the most about it is someone that this main character, whose name is Liz, starts really, really liking. So that's about sexuality and coming out and all that stuff. And then I have two shorter things, because those are both YA contemporaries. Should be pretty speedy, but they're a little longer. I have two shorter things. A novella, The Deep by Rivers Solomon. This is a novella about the descendants of pregnant African slave women who jumped from the ships of slavers, and it's about their descendants who have become mermaids of a sort. I'm unsure of the rep specifically in this book, but River Solomon is a queer author, a non-binary author, and I'm sure it will be dealing with that and probably some sexuality stuff as well. I've really wanted to continue to support River Solomon. I read their book, An Unkindness of Ghosts, back at the beginning of 2020, and so I've been curious about this newer release. And the final shortest thing on the list is Homie by Danez Smith. This is a collection of poetry. I don't know a ton of what this specifically is about. It's just that I've been interested in Danez Smith as a poet. I have another one of their collections, Don't Call Us Dead. I also have this one. But Homie is a book about gender and blackness and the intersections of queerness and race. It's also, I believe, inspired by the death of someone in the community who Danez was very close to. But I am planning to read Homie this week, and I'll probably get to this next week. It's still part of my Pride TBR, but these are my books that I would like to read during the Queer Blackathon. And I'm thinking the two that I'm going to focus on right away are these two. I would like to read Homie tonight, if at all possible, but if I'm having a hard time focusing on poetry and I'd like to switch over to something that takes a little less brain power, then I'm going to swap over to Felix Ever After, because my brain just finds YA contemporaries more accessible than poetry. So these are the first two I'm going to work on, and I will continue to update you over the next 48 hours. Wish me luck. Good morning. Leia is in such a mood. She's wandering around my bedroom screaming at me. Yeah? You gonna stop now that I turned on the camera? Feeling called out? So, good morning. It's time for me to read more book. More book, singular. So, I started reading Homie last night. It's literally sitting right next to me. I started reading Homie last night, and I found it accessible enough that I was planning on reading the whole thing before I went to sleep. And I forgot the little fact that my depression meds put me to sleep. So, I read, almost half of this, and then I fully fell asleep while I was reading it because medication. But I just woke up, took a shower, feeling clean. I'm going to go get some coffee and some kind of breakfast, and I'm going to finish reading Homie. And then I can start reading Felix Ever After. I was looking at my Instagram, and apparently yesterday I said a completely different book than the one that was actually on my TBR. I said an ebook I was going to read, Treasure by Rebecca Weatherspoon, which I do want to read, but I don't think I'm reading during the Queer Blackathon. I don't think I'll have time to read it. But there was another ebook novella that I kind of want to read if I have the time to read it during the Queer Blackathon. Let me find it. It's not the book I'm currently reading, which is Her Lady's Honor by Renee Dahlia. Look at my Kindle list. It's killer right now. There's so many good books on here. That doesn't even include, see, I got Addie LaRue. Like, oh my god. Addie LaRue. So the thing that I want to read if I have time is a book with a black trans main character, and that is Cinderella by S.T. Lin. It is a retelling of Cinderella with a black trans main character. And that is, it's supposed to be short. So if I have time, I'm going to try to read that as well during the Queer Blackathon. But I'm going to work on finishing Homie, which I'm really, really loving so far. I've been underlining like crazy. I have so many passages highlighted. I've taken so many notes. People may not know this, but whenever I read poetry, I tend to write all over the book. Like, sometimes I'll write over my other books. Some of my favorite books have writing in them, but poetry, I always have a highlighter and a pen because I like to write my thoughts about poetry as I'm reading it. So already have a ton of this marked up. I'm really, really enjoying it. I am having the hardest time focusing today. It is seriously becoming ridiculous because it is about 6 p.m. and I've finished this. So I did finish reading Homie just now. Just now I finished it. We had to go shopping, so I was out for that, but everything else taking a long time is purely on me and the fact that my brain will not focus in right now. Maybe it's partly because this is like the 13th book I've read so far in June. Let's see. The 14th book I've read so far in June. Let me write that down. So, if you can see that, that is what I have accomplished so far this month. And maybe I'm just like worn out, but I am still dedicated to this 30 books in 30 days thing. This was fucking brilliant. I'll say that. It's gonna get a 5-star review for me. Like, in part, it is because it's accessible and because it's poetry I understood, and it feels like the last couple of collections I've read have gone a bit over my head, but also because there's so much here. I think I underlined something in every single poem, or almost every single poem that I read. Like, I have so many notes and so much that I wanted to think about over and over and over again. I would say if you are looking to get into more poetry, please check out Dana Smith. I think I talked a little bit about what this collection is about, that it's about queerness and loss, but I wanted to expand on that a little bit, that it is about queerness, but it's about existing in a world where you were defined by queerness, by race, by diagnosis, and what it means to inhabit the world when you were defined by all of those things. It is also deeply about friendship, like so importantly and so deeply about friendship, about the family we create and the importance of those connections. I say we, this is not aimed at me. This is specifically a collection about blackness, about race, and that is a whole part of it that I can't claim. There were a few poems in here that I related to when it came to my own queerness, but there's so much that not even beyond me just being like, this isn't for me, but specifically is laid out as not being for white folks, and the bonding of people who are in that world of not white folks, what that means. This is about the loss of a friend, Andrew, and what that loss meant. It's about HIV, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful to read. There is this poem that starts by being about trees. It's just called Trees. Trees, exclamation point. And it starts by being about trees, and then it becomes a thing about race and about a forest being a group of friends, and like the descriptions of just green, just the color green, are incredible and heartfelt and gorgeous, and oh my god, there's just, I loved this. It's 5 out of 5 stars for me. I cannot wait to read Don't Call Us Dead. I feel like Dana Smith is possibly going to be on my list of favorite authors. Favorite writers. I think it's gonna happen. So that's one book down. It's 6 p.m. I am going to go into the living room now and start working on Felix Ever After. That's where my copy of the book is. It's in the other room. So yeah. I'm really glad that I started with this. Hopefully I'll be able to focus more going forward. This was brilliant. I loved it. Hi, I'm genuinely sorry about this, but I'm going to have to leave the fans on while I film, and you're just gonna have to put up with the noise because it's a million degrees in here. A million degrees. I'm sorry that I didn't check in more throughout the day. You know how I said I was having a hard time focusing? I fixed it. Or I think Felix Ever After fixed it, basically. I sat down and started reading this and could not stop reading it. The only thing that paused my journey through this book was ordering food and eating dinner. I could not be stopped. I loved reading this. I devoured it. I wish I would have shared more thoughts with you as I read it, but my brain did not have the space to set this down and come back to it because I had to know what happened. There's something that I want to compare this to, and I know that this is going to initially seem like something I don't love doing, which is comparing works by authors of color to white authors. I'm going to be doing that, but it's for a good reason, and I'm going to explain. This reminded me a lot of Red, White, and Royal Blue. And I think a lot of times these comparisons happen, and it's like we are handing out titles to authors of color. Like, in order to be seen as good, they have to be as good as this white author that we love. And in no way do I mean it that way. I specifically mean it as a way of reclaiming joy. Like, for me, Red, White, and Royal Blue is a joy because it captures some of the big romantic epic feelings, but it's about being queer, and that was so necessary. And I think I compare this to Red, White, and Royal Blue because its queer joy is revolutionary, and that's something that should be noted. It's something that I think it should be celebrated for, because this is a story about a person who in other people's stories might not get a happy ending, and that's fucked up and stupid. And isn't it amazing that a queer character of color, a trans character of color, can have that kind of an ending to their story? I'm really worried I was like blurry while I'm saying that. I hope that I wasn't, and I hope that it made sense. Oh, hi.
Hi. Try not to make any noise. You're making some excellent points, and I didn't want to, like, throw you off.
Slow my roll.
I didn't want to throw up your mood.
So, I am giving Felix Ever After 5 stars out of 5. I wasn't sure. I was really feeling like it was going to be a 4.5 star. It was missing, like, I hadn't quite had that moment yet where I was like, this is one of my favorite books ever. But that's what the conclusion of the book was. It was like, yes, this is what I've been looking for, and this is the way that this story had to end, and like, let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate that. I am so glad that I continued reading Kaysen's work. The first thing that I read by them was something that like just didn't quite agree with me, and I'm so glad that I have so many more of Kaysen's stories to explore that are to my tastes. This definitely deals with some very tough subjects. Felix deals with transphobia, transphobic abuse, like in an online sense. He's also dead named publicly, although the book never mentions Felix's dead name. This and a book that I'm reading, Cemetery Boys, both feature trans characters whose dead names are never stated on the page. I'm so glad that that is a bit of representation that trans YA is seeing more of right now. I think cis authors are so focused on the power of a dead name, and it comes off really uncomfortable and in this fetishizing way where, I'm really glad that trans authors get to kind of reclaim this space and never state a character's dead name. Although I would never take away the validity of a trans author including the dead name in their work. That is completely something that's up to them as well, but it's been nice to see that representation. Felix is messy. He's so messy, and so is Ezra, and so is Declan, and these characters all make their own mistakes, and there is such a care with which you get to look at what mistakes get to be forgiven and what shouldn't be forgiven, and the right of a person to make that distinction. It's queer as fuck in a celebratory way, and also one that looks at the different highs and lows of the queer community and how we treat one another. I loved it. I loved this book. It's gotten hype for all the right reasons. I'm so glad that I read it. So, it is actually about 1 a.m. right now. I think 1:13 a.m. Oh, that's right. I have it manual focused. And that means we are starting into the second day of this 2-day readathon. So we are 24 hours down, 24 to go. Well, 25 hours down, 23 to go. And 2 books, tentatively a third left. Probably just these 2, but, you know, I can hope. I think I'm gonna go into the deep next and see how far I can get through this novella tonight and continue reading it tomorrow morning, because I really liked spending my whole afternoon reading a YA contemporary. And I think that that's what I'd like to spend tomorrow doing as well. Really jumping into a joyful queer contemporary. So The Deep by River Solomon is up next, and I will let you know what I think as I read. And hopefully I will not melt in this fucking living room because it's 1,000,000 degrees. I've said that so many times, but it's because you get it. Good morning, welcome to day 2 officially, kind of. Last night was day 2, but it was really early in the morning, so it doesn't really count. I started reading The Deep by Rivers Solomon, and before I started actually reading the book, I listened to the song that this is like inspired by, based on. It's a song called The Deep by a group, Clipping, and only their last names are on the spine. Clipping is made up of David Diggs, William Hudson, and Jonathan Snipes, and it slapped. I can't believe I've never listened to the song before.
7.91. Y'all remember when the regime changed that no please, no calm seas, let the water rise so deep, so deep. Oil slick up on the sleeper was an awful thing to realize.
But then I actually started reading the book. I'm only 1 chapter in right now, so not very far at all. But I'm liking it. It has like cool concept. It's very much based in this fantasy concept of passing down memories of ancestors and one person holding all of the memories of ancestors. It's a concept that I'm familiar with and that I think is very cool. So I think I'm going to really like this. I'm going to continue working on it today. I also need to go pick up something. I bought something on Facebook Messenger or Facebook Marketplace, and I have to go pick it up today. So I'm going to do that in just a little bit. But I also got a couple of books for my, let's see, this week in publishing we were all buying 2 or more books by Black authors to black out the New York Times bestsellers lists, like all of them. I meant to buy 2, and then I bought 3 because I can't be stopped. So we're gonna see what this one is first. Yes! Song Below Water. This is by Bethany C. Morrow, who I have read one of her books before. I read her novella Mem, which is absolutely fantastic, super underrated. This is another story about black mermaids. I'm very happy. Mermaids are my thing, and I've been like buying more mermaid books recently, and it's making me really excited. This was one of the big releases of last week that I didn't get the chance to buy, so now I own it. And I totally don't have a sharp tool with which I can open this. Got it. Okay, so this is the other one that I intended to buy, Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is about 2 half-sisters who don't know that they are sisters. They don't know the other exists until their dad dies, and that's how they find out about one another. And one of the sisters is involved in a female-female romance. This is a novel in verse. I love the spine so much. Focus on the spine. There it is. Focus on the spine. It's so pretty. I cannot wait to read this. I loved The Poet X, and I still have With the Fire on High that I haven't read yet, but I might get to this before I read With the Fire on High. So those were the two that I intended to buy, and then I wound up buying one extra because I'm unstoppable. I got The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This was one of my most anticipated releases of last year. It released last year in the UK. It got its US release this year, 2020. This is another novel in verse. It's about a mixed-race gay teen growing up in London, coming out and discovering drag and like forming his drag persona. I have been dying to read this, and I just saw it on the list of books available, and I was like, have to have it. And then of course Jessie from Bow Ties and Books has been reading this during the Queer Blackathon, and that convinced me even more that this was the right decision. So I'm really excited to read it. Novels in verse are becoming more and more my thing, and I think I'm gonna love this. There you go. Mini haul of books that I'm very excited to read. And I'm going to go pour some coffee for myself. Start working on the deep until it is time to leave to pick up stuff for Facebook Marketplace. Hi. We were out a lot longer than I think either of us intended. A lot longer than either of us intended. I got the thing from Facebook Marketplace. It was a bunch of DVDs. And then we had to go grocery shopping because there was a sale on meat.
Meat sale.
Meat sale. But look, I got a new plant. Isn't she beautiful? I'm gonna put this out on our patio. It is an Angelonia planter.
Angelina Jolie.
An Angelina Jolie planter.
That's her name now.
Yes! Angelonia Jolie.
Yeah.
I love the name Angelonia Jolie. Okay. I'm gonna try to get this out onto our patio. Let's see how that goes for me. Colors. That is what we call representation. Houseplants are representation now.
Yeah.
I guess she's not a houseplant.
She's not just a houseplant.
So we're gonna finish putting away groceries and then make dinner.
Yeah, steak.
Steak. With our new cast iron. I tried the cast iron last time we had steak, but we had thin steak, so it didn't go super well. This time, we'll be deadly serious about steaks this time.
We got big boys.
We got big boys, because they was on sale, remember?
Yeah, half off.
Yeah. Yeah. The asparagus just came out of the oven.
It's good.
He's good. The cast iron was worth it. The cast iron was worth it. Vindication.
I am selfish. I am.
Hi. So I didn't actually end up getting any more reading done. I think the last thing I updated you on was dinner and the amazing steaks that we made. Basically, starting the evening of that second day of Queer Blackathon, I entered a spectacular bout of depression, and it completely shut down all of my plans to read 30 books in 30 days, to do literally anything. I was planning to have so many videos out this month. I was going to be so active. I was going to get be on top of everything, and my ass was kicked once again by mental health, which is unfortunate, but I will be okay. So I did wind up only reading that first chapter of The Deep by Rivers Solomon. I am absolutely engaged enough to continue reading this book. I'm in the middle of so many books right now. Here, let me just show you what's next to me. Cemetery Boys, haven't finished that yet. Out Now, haven't finished that yet. I have actually read The Love and Lies of Roxana Ali, so technically I've completed that. I'm in the middle of The Bridegroom. I'm in the middle of The Reader. I was listening to The Chalk Man. I still haven't finished reading Remembrance. I am also reading multiple books on my Kindle, including Her Lady's Honor. That is something that I am currently in the middle of reading. Is there anything else that I'm in the middle of right now? Oh, yeah, I am. I'm only like a couple of chapters into Dread Nation. I'm about halfway through Children of Blood and Bone. I'm a mess. It's okay, though. I'm a mess. But it's fine, because this vlog was made up of me reading 2 books, both of which I gave 5 stars to. And it feels like it's been a minute since I've had a vlog where I read a book that I really thoroughly enjoyed. And that will also be the case in my Queer Lit Readathon vlog, which I haven't uploaded yet. But, like, I read some books that I genuinely really enjoyed during that week, so it's been nice for June to read books I've enjoyed. Unfortunately, the 30 books in 30 days thing isn't happening because it is June 29th right now as of filming this bit of the video, and I have read 15 books. So I am not going to read another 15 books today and tomorrow, but I am really proud of what I have accomplished. Hopefully I will be reading more today and tomorrow and I can check off just like a couple more books, not this whole stack of books that I am in the middle of right now. We're never gonna bring this whole situation up in a, like, one of my direct videos where I'm, like, wearing makeup and that kind of thing, because this is the shame pile. This is the thing that I have shame for. I'm really hoping that I'm going to enjoy the rest of The Deep when I read it, and I'm really looking forward to still reading You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I didn't get to it during this vlog, but I know I will get to it soon. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I love you all. Thank you for your continued understanding while I deal with up and downs with mental health. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. If you want to check out Skillshare, link in the description below. It would mean a lot to me. They are part of what has kept this channel going even when I'm having a difficult time, so really appreciate checking them out. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Love, love, love to you all. I hope that you had a happy Pride, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!